All right, guys. Appreciate everybody being out. Just give you guys some game status updates for the game. We'll just have three questionable players, one being Gabe Murphy, who just had his window opened, and Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace will both be questionable going into the game. They did get a full practice in today, which you guys will see on the injury report a little bit later today. Other than that, we have no designations going into the game.
Kevin, what else do you need to see from Blake at this point, do you think, to make sure he's a full go?
Yeah, today was part of it, and now we'll see how he responds and how he feels tomorrow. Got some good work in yesterday, a little bit more today to get to his full normal Friday workload. See how he feels coming off that, and if we can have him for Sunday, it would be a huge bonus for us. Same with Ivan.
Mack Jones, what did you think of him a few years back when he came out, and what do you think of where he's at now?
Yeah, I've always really, going back to studying, I was in LA at the time and kind of studying that group, knowing that there was going to be a lot of interest at the top of the draft where we were picking, I think we're pick about 65 or so that year. So we had some time to wait, traded a few of those picks away, but shout out Les Snead. But yeah, I just remember doing my yearly study because it's always important to know the group coming out. And Mack was, a completion machine at Alabama, running that offense, and had some playmakers, and played a lot of football in New England. Under some, he's played in every kind of game. It feels like when you think back over his career, and as far as guys that are one snap away in the NFL, I mean, I don't know if there's many more guys qualified than Mack based upon where he's at in his journey, and he's going to be a challenge if it is indeed Mack. I still think as tough as Trevor is, I mean, he's played with things in the past. He's played, without even participating in the past. So we got to be ready for both those guys, and it's going to be about us playing the kind of defense that we want to play, physical, flying around, and trying to have those principles of what we showed on Sunday night consistently show up.
Kevin, what have you made of the journey of Ben Ellefson kind of retiring and then joining on the coaching staff, and how he decided to keep going with it this year and come back? What has he kind of brought to you guys?
Yeah, I love having, I love the idea of having some former players on the staff. We've got a bunch of them. With, as you guys know, with me probably being the loosest of the terms of former player, thinking of Keenan McCardell, Chris Cooper. We've got a few, Marcus Dixon, but I think there's something about a former Viking guys that's been in the trenches with these guys, and then willing to immediately transition to this career. Now I got to have some check-ins with him every now and then to make sure he's doing well with the transition, hours-wise, work-wise. We tend to work a little bit more, and he's done a heck of a job with that. Excited about him, and he's going to be a phenomenal coach. Good young coach already. Relates to the players, works his tail off, and brings a lot to the table to our staff. So very fortunate to have Ben.
NFL Films put out a snippet of your conversation with Anthony Richardson yesterday. And, I'm sure you were thrilled about that. What sort of prompted that? I mean, obviously we heard the words you said, but what sort of prompted you to say that at that time?
Yeah, I think it's important all the time that it was probably a tough week on him, and I just felt like in that moment I wanted to make sure I sought him out and just let him know. Knowing, like I said to him, how much I know that organization still believes in him, but just give him a little bit of encouragement because, I don't know if it all circles back to me all the time. It's incredibly narcissistic to talk like that, but I just felt like in that moment, had a relationship with him going through the pre-draft process. Just felt like it was something that, I wanted to let him know how I felt. And whether it meant something to him or not didn't matter, and I think it's a good thing for everybody in society to do. If you've got the ability to help somebody else in circumstances that maybe as they're working through it are less than ideal, but there is a road and a path and a rather large one, in my opinion, to him having a very, very successful NFL career. Quarterback journeys are what they are. Every single one of them has their own story. So I just felt like, if I could have an opportunity to just let him know how I feel about him and his, not only him and where he's at now, but where I think he's going in the future. I thought it was a good moment to tell him that. And I'm just a big fan. If you have something to say to, uplift somebody else, you might as well say it and not keep it to yourself.
Narcissistic? Are you talking about comparing it to your own
Just
career?
Everything always being compared to my failures, how I coach, how I talk to you guys every day. It's not out of any, I don't have any deep-rooted things going on here. I believe that I'm in this position for a purpose, for a much greater reason than myself.
Kevin, when you talk about quarterback journeys, when you see Sam Darnold, you see Baker Mayfield, and probably even Jared Goff to a degree, does that help kind of reinforce the idea that the first stop is not necessarily the end of somebody's story?
Yeah, and even then, I'd take it a step further. Like the first bout of adversity, sometimes it's an injury like Anthony experienced. Sometimes it's needing to, just listen to your coaches and understand that, there's a big picture plan in place and it's going to work out. All he can do is continue to work and go in there and work hard every day because he's a very, very talented player physically. He's, as gifted as anybody that's come into this league, and I'm a fan of his. So just as the person that he is and getting to know him a little bit. So, yeah, I think so.
Kevin, circling back to Cashman, just if he is able to go, how would you describe what it is that you're getting back?
Yeah, I think you guys have heard me talk about the communication factor in our defense is huge. So I think IP's done a really nice job with it. Battled through an injury the other night and still gave us dang near everything he had. I think he missed, all but maybe 1 or 2 snaps in the game. And to get Blake and IP back in there together is a force in our base defense and our nickel defense when we've got 2 backers in the game, knowing that Metellus and Harry and Cam have so much to do with what we do from a versatility standpoint, but also Cash's, off the ball coverage ability, his speed, his burst. He's really, really instinctual in zone coverage. So, when you're looking out at things that may have caused our defense some conversation over the last few weeks, I think Blake Cashman's a big part of the consistency factor in how we want to play. So it's, a big thing that I've been looking forward to clearly for a while. And I just want to credit him for the work he's put in to get back and stay totally and completely present through this whole time, where I felt like he hasn't, outside of those games, I feel like Cash has been totally into it, in the mix, and it will be a very seamless transition, hopefully for him Sunday in Jacksonville.
How's the kicking operation coming together with a new long snapper?
And McQuaid's been really good just from a standpoint of when you can have a veteran guy with that kind of experience just step in there and get that part consistent. And Ryan Wright's a really good holder, has been since he arrived here. So then it's just about getting Park swings, and I thought he had a really good week. I got a lot of confidence in him, and I know he's going to go out there and do what we need him to do in the game, and I think it's, something that having him here before and a lot of kicks here over the course of the offseason to really get a chance to, learn a bit more about him, much more so than just this week, gives me a lot of confidence that he's going to be ready to rock and roll.